Hi everyone, welcome to Mildura Arts Centre's Social Drawing at Home, live. I would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the lands on which we are meeting and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. Today's session takes inspiration from the Mildura Arts Centre collection exhibition Midnag Poetry Posters, and you can check out the virtual online tour via the MAC website, and I'll give out those details later in the session. We will be combining drawing, images and words to create poems. And to get the most out of the session, have a look around your home if you haven't already done so, and find some plain A4 copy paper or your art journal. Gather together some household catalogues or some old magazines which we'll be cutting up. Grab a pair of scissors, glue, a ruler, your favourite drawing materials, pens, pencils, textures, crayons, etc. And anything extra that you might want to add, like washi tape, or if you've got stencils and things like that. And if you've got your face mask handy, grab that too, because we'll be doing something themed for your mask, about your mask. So for the purpose of this session, I have done some pre-prep. So let's get started. So the idea behind today's session is to cut up catalogues, newspapers. This is a copy of the St Rose Daily that I've already done some hacking into. Mildura Weekly, any old newspapers that you're not currently reading. You don't want to chop up today's issue. Any magazines or supplements that you get in the paper. I've got an old copy of Frankie magazine that we'll be cutting into as well. Any catalogues, that you've got at all laying around. An old Vogue magazine as well. So just lots of things that you can use that you have at hand. So you don't necessarily have to go out and buy any fancy materials. You can use anything at all that you've got laying around. And I will point out that in Victoria, masks are mandatory at the moment, but because I'm presenting on camera, I have an exemption to take my mask off, so in case you were wondering about that. So, I've done some pre-prep, as I said. So already, what we're going to do is really random poetry. So we're chopping up words that we've found in magazines, newspapers, catalogues, and basically making a collage poem. So I've put some words already into this brown paper bag, but I also just had a quick look and had found some other interesting words that I thought might be a good idea to add. So I'm going to do some cuttings. I'm not sure whether you can see that. So this real estate supplement, real estate guide, I'm just going to cut out the word magnificent because it's huge. So we're really playing with scale, and you'll see what I mean once, whoops, cut a bit too much there. You'll see what I mean about playing around with scale once we get started. So just to, find a few more things. So you might want to, at the moment, just follow along, or you might want to do it at the same time or watch it back later. This video will be available via our socials that it's been streamed on via later. So if you just like to watch now and then go back to it, you can do that. So this Aldi catalogue, I found some interesting words earlier. Ooh, and just for the purpose of showing you what I'm doing for the demonstration purposes, I thought I would leave some cutting for visual impact. So I'm just cutting out these words, super savers. And I think that'll do. So, as I said, I already did some pre-prepping earlier, and we've got 3 separate things to do today. So this one is catalogues and magazines. So I'm going to shake it up. Bit of action happening on screen. And I've got a little note here I had 10 words, but I think we'll try with 10. But if we need more, so I'm just randomly, selecting words, and we're going with the white paper for this first one. I'm being very random. 3, so that's 3 words. Oh, that's a bit hard. 4, 5, 6. Oh my God. I'm going to curate my random selection. So you might want to do that. You might even want to go through and pick all the words so that they kind of are themed, which I have done in our next one. So how many words do I have now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so I might turn my page up this way. So now comes the fun bit, the placement of the words to make your random catalogue/magazine poem. So you might, I'm just going to do this really quickly, and I think I might have a rogue extra. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to replace that one with this one, just for visually so that you can see it a little bit easier rather than a smaller word. But you can use any size, you can play around with scale of words for that. So, okay, this is quite random, this one. So, Mother's Dental Auto Bear, Super Price, Wiped Daily, Magnificent Inter. So Mother's, and we can take them away because I've realised that these are really big words. So Mother's Dental Super Bear Daily Price Magnificent Auto. And that might even be too many words, because what we're going to do, we're not just in this exercise, we're not just going to randomly put down words. We're going to take visual cues from the words that we've got on the paper. So you might want to stick those down. So once you're happy with your word placement, stick them down. So very quickly. And I'm going to get rid of that last word because I think. So, Mother's Dental. So I'm going to draw I'm going to grab a pencil, just a normal graphite pencil, and draw some teeth. Or dental might mean something else entirely to you. So you're really using your imagination for these cues. Mother's Dental. So we've got some very, nice teeth and a big smile. And you will, you probably will take a bit more time and care with your colouring in than I am. Super. So what do we associate with super? Capes, I suppose. So maybe over here we've got a cape underneath the word super. So we can be quite literal and have the cape underneath the word, or with a bit of room down the bottom you can create that and just play around with the placement of where you're wanting to do that. So bear as in bear, not as in bear, as in grizzly bear. But maybe you might want to be a bit clever and draw a picture of a grizzly bear just to kind of create a bit of interest and make people think, hang on, that's not how you spell bear. All of those sort of things. So ways in which, poems and poetry and writers engage their readers. and price. So we'll just put a $sign, or maybe where you are, the sign of currency is euro, or some other pound sterling or something like that. If you're tuning in from not within Australia. So you can really you can see what I mean. You can really take a lot of time. You can take some words out if some words don't make sense to your poem. Just have a play around with what works and what doesn't. And the word magnificent, I think, is just magnificent on its own. So that's one method. So that was very quick. As I said, we're not. The idea is that I've already spoken for 10 minutes, I'm told. So anyway, so the next one I mentioned, if you have your mask nearby, you might want to grab your mask. I also have a surgical mask. This next exercise, I've got in my little brown paper bag, words that are all associated with the word mask. So I actually went online to Thesaurus Online and typed in the word mask, and it listed a whole heap of words that I then copy and pasted into a Word document, and printed them all off. So we're going to sort of do a similar thing. But in this case, we're going to be adding a few extra words. So they all relate to the word mask. And I'm going to change my colours around. I've got some black paper, but you can keep using white paper. It really doesn't matter what paper you've got. You can even use the catalogue. Paste over the top of your catalogue. I've said that before. Whatever you've got at home, it doesn't have to be fancy. To do that, actually, I'm going to I'm going to use the black. And I've got myself written a note here, 10 words. But like before, I might be random. 1, 2. So all these words that I'm pulling out have some association with the word mask. And here in Victoria and in Melbourne, and you may realise that you may have heard, if you're living in Victoria, that masks are compulsory for us at the moment. So I'm just going to trim down these words. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm short one word, so I'll grab that in a minute. But you can see that these words are all the same size, which you might want to play around with scale. Or if you don't have a printer, you can also do this by going online, if you've got access to the internet, which presuming you do, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to watch me at the moment, and write down the words. Or if there's more of you in one household, you'll take it in turns to write the words if you're using Thesaurus like I did, and then you'll have different handwriting that you can then use and collage together. So lots of different ways that you can do that, because many people don't have printers anymore, because a lot of documents are electronic and you don't need to do that. So what have we got? So disguised, I'm going to play around with these words. Obscure air. So these all relate to the word mask, as I said before. I keep repeating myself. Obscure air, cover up, disguise, blind, veil, mask, affectation, mask, visor. I'm just going to take that word out. And then I said, if you've got your mask handy, you might want to trace around your mask. We're going to incorporate it into our collage poem. Not literally. I don't necessarily want you to glue it to the artwork, because then you won't be able to wear it. but you could perhaps trace around it if you weren't confident in drawing from observation. So as I have said in previous sessions, observational drawing is when you're drawing something in front of you and drawing that freehand, for want of a better term. Or you might just want to do what I'm doing here and just trace around the outside, which I'm not sure how, if you can pick that up on the camera. You may not be able to. So I'm going to make it pink because I like pink on black and that's my thing. So I'm just going to trace around the outline that I had there. And I'm going to have a look at that mask in front of me and I'm going to just kind of add in those folds. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I say all the time, this is really about having fun and doing something that you can do as an individual, at home by yourself, or with your family, if you're at home with your family. I'm making my elastic blue because it looks nice on the black paper. And I'm going to put in some highlights and shadows now. So if you're new to tuning into social drawing at home, this has been going on, we've been doing this for quite a few months now. Social drawing was originally on site here at MAC, so, but then once COVID-19 restrictions came in the first time round, we had to stop doing on-site public programs. So this is a regular thing, so please sign up to the MAC social media platforms or go to our website and sign up for our e-news and you'll be kept up to date with what's happening. So I'm just going to put in some other shadows. I'm going to use some orange as a contrast and go back in and use some white as a highlighter. And I love to use oil pastel because it's quick, marks, it makes, fills up the page really quickly, and you can blend it with your finger or with a cotton bud, that's the word I was looking for. And it looks really good on black as well, works quite well. So there's my mask. Almost the same kind of. And I'm going to stick down the words that make up my random mask poem. And you might want to then add some other elements, add some other drawn elements to this. You might want to draw something that or find something in a catalogue or in a magazine if you're not confident in drawing, something that relates to air. Any of the words, so blind, maybe you want to draw, maybe you prefer to draw a visor or a veil. Whatever your random poem is about. So once I've stuck them down, I'll just check, does this make sense? Obscure, air, cover up, disguise, blind, veil, affectation, visor. Obscure, air, covered up. My disguise. So you can really play around with this. Blinded. Blinded, veil, affectation, or maybe affected, visor. So you can really play around. Don't just have to have the collage elements. You can add your own, make the word your own and turn it into a story. So this is quite a good thing if you're, an exercise to do if you're wanting to write something and you can't think of a story to write. Just have a go at putting down some random words and see what you can make the story into. So quite a good exercise for writing. Okay, so that's that one. Should I hold it up? Okay, what do I have? So I mentioned earlier that we had an exhibition, or we're now closed to the public, like a lot of Victorian galleries, but we had an exhibition that was on in the gallery, and we still have the online virtual tour, as I mentioned earlier, called MidNag. So MidNag stands for Mid Northumberland Arts Group in the UK, and it's a collection of posters that was collected by former Arts Centre director Tom McCullough during the roundabout the 1970s. So there are a series of so the graphic artists designed the posters and used the words of poets, some well-known poets and also some poets from within the group of the MidNag. So what I did is I thought it might be interesting to create a poem from some of the words that relate to that exhibition, only because I know, because I work at Mildura Arts Centre and I know and have access to that information. So you might have something else that you are particularly passionate about, or that you might want to write something. It might be your cat, it might be your dog, perhaps it's your car, it might be your, where you live, something, the view outside your window. So just collect some words, and like I mentioned before, perhaps you might, if you live in a house with more than one person, you can all take it in turns to write in different scale. So I'm just going to shake that up again, and I've got 20 words to pull out, but I think that might be too many. So let's see how we go. So one of the poets that's featured in the exhibition is William Wordsworth. So I've got Wordsworth, Schiller is another of the poets, Verlaine, Anne is the first name of one of the graphic artists, Charles. So I've kind of mixed things up a bit. Scottish, because there's a Scottish ballad in the poem. Shelley, so Shelley the poet. Slumber, one of the titles of the titles of the poems. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 8 there. Horse. One of a bird, so faith, unknown, because one of the artists was unknown, and again. So again, sort of playing around with word placement and that sort of stuff. I've got quite a few other words here, so I might play around here, and it's probably not 20, but that doesn't matter. So whatever it is that you want to make, however it is that you want to make it work. So Anne, unknown faith, Wordsworth, horse, slumber, Scottish, bird, Shelley, again, waters. I'm just randomly selecting here. Voices. So you can kind of get the idea of this random use of poetry, which was a technique that the Surrealists used. And if you tuned into the last workshop we had up online by arts educator Jo Fraser, she used an example of a similar technique as well. So hi Jo, if you're watching. So these words, do they work? Anne, I'm going to put here, Anne, and I'm going to use this white space. Anne of the unknown faith. Wordsworth's horse slumbers in or near, maybe near. Scottish birds. I think we might move this around. Scottish birds, waters. Voices again, and pretend it's by Shelley. I'm sure he would not be. I'm not sure that he would be happy with his poem. So again, this is purely words to play with. So if you are following along at home and you are doing some creating of your own, we would love to see what it is that you are making too. So send us an inbox if you're a message via our Facebook page if you're following on Facebook or YouTube, After the video goes live at the end of this session, you can also add comments. I think you can also add comments while it's live, but you're just not able to add images while the video is live. So please let us know what it is that you're doing and what you think of what you think of this random poetry. Okay. And just for the heck of it, I'm going to draw a little bird. I'm not sure what kind of a bird I'm drawing, but maybe it'll be a toucan. I don't know. The pressure. There's a lovely Scottish ballad. That's where I got the bird. Scottish ballad, the Twa Corbies, which are crows, which is the Scottish, a very old and well-known Scottish ballad. And I quite like crows. I don't know that this looks like a crow. It looks more like a cross between a cockatoo. But anyway, the pressure is on. Anyway, it's just a quick, fun activity. Okay, so there is that one. If you're wanting to play around with some other ideas of making poems, online I googled online poem generators, and there was a heap of them that came up. So there was quite a long list. I used one called poem-generator.org.uk, and there was a whole range of selection that you could pick. So haiku poems, sonnets, quick poems, all sorts of different types. And so what you do is you put in some random information, you select different words, nouns, adjectives, and then you put in your pen name, whatever it is. It can be your own name, it can be whatever you like, and then click generate, and it comes up with these fabulous poems that really kind of free up your mind to be writing, having some fun, especially if you're kind of in lockdown and not able to go very far. And I'm thinking of our friends in Melbourne who aren't able to travel any further than 5 kilometres from their home. So quite a few things that you could be doing at home while you're there. So I might start wrapping up. So our next session of social drawing at home will be in about a month's time, Saturday the 5th of September at 2 p.m. Please go to our website, milduraartscentre.com.au. We've got lots of online and digital programming available up there for you to have a look at. We have a brand new zines workshop on our Learn page by Dr. Jess Eggy and Sam Regal from Sticky Institute in Melbourne. And it's really fun and quirky workshop for you to participate in. So you'll learn all about zines in that workshop, as well as why Jess and Sam make zines and how they make them, and also how to make your own zines, which is so great and fun, and carries on the literary theme that we've been having today. We also have Backstage Pass coming up this Friday the 14th of August at 7 p.m. with Natalia and Penn. And we've got lots of online exhibition tours, all of our current exhibitions that we have on that are currently up on our website. So the Midnag Poetry Posters, which I already mentioned. We have Blurry Borders by Kristen Emerson and Dreams of Another Life by Pia Larson, as well as Celebrating Local, which is a Mildura Arts Centre collection exhibition. And they all have accompanying audio. So you can find out a bit more about each exhibition by, with the visuals and also the audio as well. I'm sure I've forgotten to tell you something, but keep creative, keep safe, keep healthy, keep on going. And we would love to hear from you. So if you've been creating anything during the session, or maybe you're going to go back and do it afterwards, send us what it is that you're doing. We'd really love to see it. Thanks everyone. Look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.